You're listening to the all-new CultureCast, Chicagoland's finest podcast.
Welcome to the latest edition of the all-new CultureCast. This is episode 13, and with you today is the Gorehound and...
Nick!
Hey, Nick, how are you doing today?
Very good. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you. So yeah, we're going to be talking about Bone Tomahawk today with Kurt Russell and a whole bunch of other people. And this is as fresh in the CultureCast's minds because we just watched it hours ago.
Yes.
You can't get any fresher than that.
I should mention Bone Tomahawk stars Kurt Russell, and this begins our January theme month of Kurt Russell Month.
I think you'll love it. I understand they open the gym at 5 a.m. You can start pumping early.
Hi there. How you doing? Say, this your $10? You know, I saw it floating underneath the car. I picked it up. Here you are, Mr. What's your name?
Stanley Dwowski.
Polish, eh? What a coincidence. Rudy Polanski. How are you?
What, I'm supposed to buy this shit? 2,000 years and he can't find one broad to fit the bill? Come on, Dave. You must be doing something seriously wrong.
3 houses, that's $375. That's $37.
Well, that's half the money I have left.
Shit happens. Cough it up.
I see you got all my greatest hits. You just put together a nice little compilation, didn't you?
Let's tie her off and kick back some cold ones, huh? Hey, come and see her. You wait a minute. Yeah, I guess I'll go with a margarita, huh? Hey!
Yes.
So every week we're going to be bringing you a new Kurt Russell movie that we're going to be talking about. So.
And he's not just picked randomly. He's in 2 movies. This one and Hateful Eight. Bone Tomahawk, I believe, was just released not too long ago, or I guess within the past few months. And Hateful Eight was just released December 25th. So he's in the cinema's mind right now.
Yes, he's definitely yeah.
And he's certainly a fan favorite of mine. I love most of his movies that he's in, and he's one of my favorite actors. So
he's fun. He's a fun actor in that everything he does, he throws himself into it. Even in like some of his lesser movies, he's usually consistently good. So you could tell he takes his craft seriously, but not too seriously, if that makes any sense.
Right.
So
but before we get in, let's talk about what we've been watching recently. How about you?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I just haven't had time. I work at a school. I work at a college, and we've had the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's off. The week of Christmas is a shot week because it's Christmas, a lot of stuff going on. New Year's, I was hoping to get some movies, some long movies. Not long movies, but long desire to watch movies. A couple of the Star Treks I wanted to rewatch because I bought some Blu-rays over a year ago that I haven't had a chance to really sit down and watch through. I've had a desire to watch some older James Bond movies, and I've had time to do none of that.
That's understandable. I presume that you weren't just watching movies during the holidays. I presume you were spending it with your lovely fiancée. Yeah,
well, it's we watched some Christmas movies, but I don't count that. That's sort of like something you do during the holidays. It's like going to see Christmas lights. You just do it. It's part of the holiday. You have to do it. That's the law. But
you don't review them. You just enjoy them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have not had a chance to watch a lot. What about you? What, you've been watching anything fun or good or?
I've been cruising through Californication. I've been watching it on and off for like the past year, but after finishing up Entourage, I kind of wanted to jump into a series that I've always wanted to watch, and so I kind of just been busted through it the past week or two, and I've got about a season and a half left. Totally engrossed in it, kind of leading up to X-Files.
Yes, the big relaunch that's coming later on in January.
Yeah. Did you watch the behind-the-scenes footage that was just released?
Like the 20-minute preview or something?
Yeah.
I did watch that.
How was it? I'd see it.
It was good. I mean, it doesn't really tell you much of the story, just kind of like they're reminiscing like how great it was being in X-Files and how great and fun it is being back and that sort of thing, Nothing too crazy. So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be good. I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. It's awesome. Gonna be, yeah, and hopefully we'll get around to watching each episode each week, and giving a little synopsis, review, thoughts, reactions.
I would suggest in place of our regular "what have we been watching" sort of thing, we could talk a little about each episode.
Because that is what we will be watching.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That is very true. So
let's jump into Bone Tomahawk.
Yes.
What were your initial reactions to it?
You suggested this to me, and I knew nothing. Excuse me, nothing about it other than it was a Western. Mm-hmm. And for me, Westerns are roll the dice. Either I'm going to really like them or really not like them. Mm-hmm. I kind of left this movie just sort of like,
Yeah.
You know, it was there. I wouldn't say I particularly liked it, but I'm not going to say I particularly disliked it. What about you?
I was disappointed. I was expecting something really intense. Because I guess I had listened to a podcast or two with Kurt Russell and movie reviews of it. So I kind of had this different impression of what it was going. I got this impression that, I don't know, it kind of didn't live up to it. I was told that it was going to be a Western horror movie that was intense on the level of The Hills Have Eyes.
Okay.
And it wasn't. It was a slow burning film, where it's very slow. Where I was expecting it to really pick up at the end, but it didn't really pick up.
It was very much like I see on Wikipedia it's referred to as a horror Western film. Mm-hmm. I didn't find anything. I didn't know what the horror element of it was, other than the most superficial terms, which we'll get to. But what you're saying in terms of how it was a very slow burning movie, I feel a lot of modern westerns and Western inspired type films have that same sort of slow burn in them. Knowing that this was at least a Western, that part didn't necessarily surprise me, but I will agree that it is a very slow moving film. Mm-hmm. And not a lot happens.
Right. I appreciated all the characters. Each of them I felt were really great. And I think that the best part about this film was the script, and the actors who were speaking and saying the script. Because in just a small portion of the reviews that I read and listened to, some people said that there were a lot of comedic elements in this. And through the script, you can really see that. Yeah,
there were, especially with the backup deputy, who was kind of like, he wasn't a bumbling oaf, but he kind of was a bumbling oaf. Mm-hmm.
And that is Jack from Lost, right?
No, the older guy.
The old man. Okay.
Yeah, I think Jack from Lost was the snobby one who was like, "Oh, are you going to go to Germany in case you break my magnifying glass?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was him. The older guy, who was he? Richard Jenkins. That's who it was. Richard Jenkins. Played, was it Chicory? That's really, that was him. I'm looking at. I just pulled up his Wikipedia page, and seeing him outside of the makeup he had in the movie was someone. He looked very, very different, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, he was in a Cabin in the Woods.
Yes. Man. And he was in Step Brothers, and he was born in DeKalb, Illinois. So how about that?
Shit. Yeah, that was quite some good makeup there.
Yeah, I would not have picked him out from that. Interesting. See, now I want to go back and rewatch to see if I could actually see him.
Yeah.
But I already returned the disc, so that's not going to happen. Yeah. But anyway, I agree with you. I think the characters were pretty well defined in terms of who they were. They all filled a very specific role, and I think the actors worked well off of one another.
Yeah. Where each of them had their very own distinct role in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it wonderfully.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Let's talk a little bit about the plot of this film. And do you mind if I indulge and describe?
Take the reins.
Sure. Okay. The plot of Bone Tomahawk pretty much is in essence a cowboy versus Indian movie. If in the loosest description, this bum played by David Arquette wanders into town, and turns out at the very beginning of the movie, he desecrated some Indian burial grave
With Sid Haig.
Yes.
Icon,
Yes. His poop was his partner in crime. And the Indians, who are not actually Indians, they're like monster Indians, super Indians, because they're
troglodytes, as referred to.
Yeah.
And I thought troglodyte was like a prehistoric fossil found on the bottom of the ocean, but apparently it's just a cave dweller, so it really is exactly what they're referred to as.
They're basically monsters in this film. They had this weird, for them being quote unquote savages, they have interesting surgery where they put like whistles in their throats to make that weird sound. But anyway, I digress. So these troglodytes invade the town to get the guy back, and in the process, they kidnap the town doctor and the sheriff's deputy. So the doctor's husband, who has an injured leg, the sheriff, played by Kurt Russell, and a few others go to get their people back, and hopefully make it back alive themselves. So that's basically the story, and it lasts about a little over 2 hours.
Right. But yeah, I mean, the pace does pick up at the end.
Yes.
For the first half of the film, it's pretty much just
they're walking and walking.
Stranger comes by, they shoot him.
Yeah, which was, I don't get I feel this film could have been edited down a little bit. Like when they killed the Mexican guys who were coming by, I get, it was a character beat, I suppose, but if you cut that out, you wouldn't have missed anything in the film. Right.
Yeah, because all we care about is them getting the Mrs. Dwyer back.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the point of their trip.
It was interesting to give Patrick Wilson, the husband, Mr. Dwyer, what was his first name? Arthur Dwyer, like a broken leg, kind of added to his character and gave him like a new dimension.
Mm-hmm.
I feel if he didn't have that, he'd be, kind of interchangeable with some of the other characters.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was the one also that, spoilers, saves the day at the end, essentially.
Yeah. Kind of like an underdog.
Yeah. But let's talk about the so-called horror element of this movie.
Yeah.
It's labeled as a horror western, but I didn't think it was all that horror.
Yeah, in many circumstances, it's labeled horror. But as Kurt Russell says, he really didn't see it as being a horror because he doesn't really watch a whole lot of the horror, and he never even thought John Carpenter's The Thing was a horror movie. So, in a basic sense, it is not a horror movie. Mm-hmm. Other than the fact that you have some violence and these troglodytes.
They're monsters, essentially. They're like the stereotypical movie monster.
Right. It's not horror.
Yeah. Having a monster doesn't automatically make it horror. Because nothing was like scary about it. I feel for a horror film, you need to have some scares in there. That's just my own personal.
Yeah, I mean, it did have suspense in there.
Yeah, it was suspenseful.
Because at the night scenes, you're like, who the shit is going to walk up to the camp and kill them?
Mm-hmm. So. I didn't. One of the things I didn't like about this film, and I know this is a common thing in my opinion, a lot of modern westerns, is I didn't like how graphic it was. Like when they scalped the guy alive and then cut him in half, and like you saw all that, and
especially for that being the only violence in the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
It can't be that intense. If you're gonna employ that sort of violence, make it known throughout the entire movie, so that I don't know. Don't just have one scene.
Yeah, and they did have like some other violent elements, but like when they're like cutting the guys open, like at the very beginning when they're like slitting their throats and everything, and it was too realistic for me, and I don't like realistic gore. When it comes to like action films and things like that, I don't mind that, especially if like films from the 80s where they just did not care and just made it as gruesome as possible. That's more cartoony, in my opinion, because it's so over the top. This, just that realistic gore. I just can't get. I don't like that, and that really was a real big turnoff for me with this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that there would be a lot more of it. Really, only for the fact that I got the night to myself, and I really wanted to watch some violent horror movies. Mm-hmm. So, other than that fact, it was like, there's really just take it out. And let us not focus on the violence. Let us focus on the character interactions, these people's way of life, and, cowboys versus Indians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what did you think of it as a Western? I haven't watched a whole lot of Westerns, so I'm not that familiar.
It was okay. I've seen better, I've seen worse.
Yeah.
Again, Western is not one of my favorite genres. Like, I'm not there's a Western, I gotta go and see it. So I'm rarely wowed by it, but I feel like I think sometimes with Westerns nowadays, they might be trying a little too hard to be like more relevant.
Yeah.
I guess I prefer...
Is Western genre dead?
I wouldn't say it's dead, but like in the 50s and 60s, it was like the movie. It was like the big film that people always were making Westerns left and right.
Yeah.
And those films are pretty good. Like The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, The Magnificent Seven. I like those movies. Mm-hmm. Today they're more, because movies got to be gritty and realistic. The Westerns are more focused on being how realistic can we be, as opposed to how good of a story can we tell. I know I'm probably going to get some people out there who are going to disagree with that, and that's fine. That's just my view of it. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess it was fine as Western. I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think, though, to answer your question, I don't think the Western's dead. I just don't think it's as popular. Kind of like superhero films kind of are all the rage right now, and I'm sure in 20, 30 years we'll look back and we'll look at this decade as the superhero decade.
Yeah.
But even even those films are going to eventually fade to popularity in time.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. Those things come in cycles,
One part of the Western aspect that I did like was the costumes.
Yes.
I think they looked fantastic. And Kurt Russell's look was just like epic.
Yeah, he's the sheriff you do not want to mess with.
Yeah, and it really had me wanting more from him. And it really actually got more excited for The Hateful Eight. Because I feel like because this movie was, I believe it was made before. Actually, I don't know.
Let me look it up.
Because this Bone Tomahawk was released prior to Hateful Eight, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it was filmed before Hateful Eight.
Filming began October 6, 2014, and filmed in 21 days. Wow, that's a quick turnaround for a film. So it was filmed at the end of last year.
Okay. Let
me look up Hateful Eight here.
December 8th, 2014.
So he filmed this right after. Oh, he filmed Hateful Eight right after.
Okay. Well, regardless, I feel like he had this beautiful beard, grew his hair out, and he kind of just went from this movie to the next one without changing anything, except putting more layers on.
Oh, probably. I bet he was already signed to do this one. Like he signed on to... let me back up. He signed on to do Hateful Eight. So he probably figured, well, I'll just keep it. And...
Yeah. Everybody's going to love it, so let's keep the train rolling.
Let's see. Yeah.
But yeah, did you feel that way? Like, after seeing this, you kind of just wanted to see Hateful Eight even more afterwards?
No,
No?
I'm indifferent. I'm not the biggest, like, I'm not super anticipating Hateful Eight. I'll be honest with you. I have
Yeah.
mixed feelings on Quentin Tarantino,
Yeah.
so I don't see myself necessarily like going goofy about needing to see Hateful Eight. But that said, I'm not opposed to seeing it. So this movie had no bearing on my opinion.
Okay.
For you, apparently, it was the end all be all.
Yeah, because it was just it's a slow burning movie, and I wanted to see Kurt Russell kick ass and have a lot more talking. I mean, the script was wonderful, but it's very slow, and the script is good, but it's still slow.
No, you're right. It's a very slow burning movie, and if someone can deal with that, I think they'll be fine. But if you need something a little bit more pizzazz, then I don't know if this movie's going to be for you.
Yeah.
So.
Did you notice that Sean Young was in here?
Yeah, I saw her name in the credit. Like when you told me it the other day, I looked it up and I saw, oh, Sean Young. Was she the mayor's wife?
Yeah.
Okay, because she was in there for like a real quick scene.
Yeah, exactly. It could have been just some other rando, and it would not have made any difference.
Yeah, I'm surprised they gave someone. Not that Sean Young is necessarily an A-list actress, but she's a household name by now, and someone of her quote-unquote status, like such a throwaway bit, but
Right.
I don't know, maybe the director just wanted to work with her, who knows.
Yeah, put her in something.
Maybe they're friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have to say that this film had an interesting cast to it. It was very, like the aforementioned Kurt Russell and Richard Jenkins and Patrick Wilson and Matthew Fox and David Arquette, like known people. Sean Young definitely had a certain sort of pedigree that this movie was able to snag.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because director S. Craig Zahler, I guess this is his first directorial debut.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking him up right now. Yeah, he's done nothing that I am aware of other than obviously Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah.
So I don't know
Interesting.
how he was able to snag all these higher end folks.
Yeah.
Honestly, were you aware of this movie
The
before?
only reason that I saw it was because I heard that it was a Western horror with Kurt Russell. And just that was intriguing enough for me to seek it out. Because I occasionally will look at RedBox just to see if there are any horror movies coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And they're generally, I mean, there are, but nothing worth watching. And yeah, that's what caught my attention. And then hearing that Matthew Fox was in here, Jack from Lost, I kind of just had to see it. I watched the trailer, and the trailer was kick-ass. It was really... It looked awesome, looked violent, right up my alley. But the trailer was better than the movie.
I should watch the trailer to see how it compares because trailers can be so misleading sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to add to this. How about you? So,
I don't either. I don't know what else to say about Bone Tomahawk.
yeah.
If it was more exciting of a movie, like here's the thing, and I guess this is sort of my final stamp on this is that there's nothing inherently wrong with this movie. It's technically proficient. The characters are well done. The dialogue is good. It's just not that interesting of a movie.
And also, one thing I want to add is that the cast seemed to be so minimal.
Mm-hmm.
We really only see these 4 characters and the monster troglodytes. You really don't see more than 3 at a time. And
It's true.
They talk about the number of them, so that there are only 7 to begin with.
I thought there were like 12, but I guess regardless, it's a small number.
Right, it's not that intimidating. Okay, they could take on 12 guys. I mean, yeah, it'd
don't
be
know.
intense, but it's not unthinkable.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's the point. Like, oh, we got this, and they're like, oh my god, these guys are like really skilled.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I wonder. It's funny that you say that we only see 3 at a time. I wonder if they just only hired 3 actors
Yeah, honestly.
and just were like, all right, you're going to be these guys again. Change your makeup just a little bit.
Right, exactly, because they were interchangeable except for the boar tusk guy.
Yeah, he must have been the leader. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Thumbs down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate because it had a lot of potential. There just wasn't enough to it.
Yeah.
I guess that's going to close us out.
Yeah, I got nothing else unless you have anything else.
No, thumbs down.
Yeah. So, kind of kind of a bummer for
Kurt
our,
Russell
our first entry into the Kurt Russell month, and a bummer as we start 2016. But them's the breaks.
But hey, next week is going to be Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes, a classic.
Oh my gosh, so much fun. So
a lot of stuff to talk about with that. So, all right.
Yeah, thank you for joining me, Nick.
Anytime.
And until next time, we are the All New Culture Cast. Thanks.
Bye. You've been listening to the All New Culture Cast, where every episode is all new. Check out our blog, Zach and Nick's Culturecast, at znculturecast.wordpress.com, and find us on social media. Send us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, comments, and requests. Theme music by bensound.com. The All New Culturecast, a saltwater production, copyright 2016. I don't know. Are you okay there? I'm hearing weird sounds with your mic.
Yeah, I was kind of twirling the chair around.
Okay.
And I like to stand up and walk around while I'm talking. Helps me focus.
Fair enough.